What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Group Chat Football. I'm Peter Ariz alongside D Money, and this is our daily national college football show. We're talking the biggest news in the sport, from transfer news, recruiting news, coaching movement, and much more. I'm not sure what today's news falls under, but it's Bill Belichick. It's North Carolina, one of our favorite programs to cover. And they're going to be on Hard Knocks, the off-season version of Hard Knocks, because the NFL could not find a professional team, an NFL team, to willing to go on it after Joe Shane's, bad situation on air. That talking about the Jaden Daniels, and of course they go with Malik Neighbors, and we know how that story has worked out. Obviously, Jaden Daniels had a great year, so these teams don't want that stuff on air. They don't want these decisions playing out on air. Bill Belichick, when he was with the Patriots, they were never on Hard Knocks. So why now for Bill and North Carolina?
First of all, coming live from the Brumley Preserve in Chapel Hill, beautiful Chapel Hill, as you can see. Who wouldn't want to be here? I think the difference between now and then, very simple. You have to convince people to join your team now, right? Bill Belichick, he could draft whoever he wanted. Free agency, he got his own free agents. It wasn't like they were out there for the top guys all the time. He got guys that he wanted that fit, that weren't, he didn't have to wine and dine. Now, you got to wine and dine a little bit. So this is a different situation. It's different practical purpose. And you heard Mike Lombardi. Look, forget about this. Why is Mike Lombardi on Pat McAfee every week, right? It's all recruiting. It's all communicating to the public, building a brand. Mike Lombardi said it when they asked about Hard Knocks on McAfee. He said, we're trying to show everybody we're the 33rd team, right? NFL Films, to me, does a very good job of protecting people. That's why they get so much trust and so much good footage. With the Giants, I don't think they betrayed any confidence. It was just the Giants made the wrong decision on camera, so they got caught. It wasn't like they selectively edited to make them look bad. So I think Belichick knows he trusts NFL Films. In the past, Hard Knocks wouldn't do anything to help your team. So why do it? Now there's a reason it would help. You got kids watching. You got transfer portal. Everybody's watching, right? This is a big show. So if you're sitting at a different college team, or if you're sitting in a high school class and you're watching this thing, you're saying, all right, well, if I decide to go to North Carolina, maybe it could be an HBO. These guys are clearly doing an NFL type operation. They're on the NFL show, which is Hard Knocks. This is NFL. And it all fits in the image that he wants.
And really, I mean, if you're a Carolina fan, it's got to be exciting too, because again, this is the off-season version. So what's going to be going on here in the off-season? It's going to be spring practice, right? You're going to get a look at, behind the scenes conversations with the coaching staff and the players. You get in these meeting rooms, you get a real idea of, because we've been so excited about how Coach Belichick has put this staff together. You have from former NFL guys, you have younger assistants with big-time recruiting prowess, like a Coach Mondo Hawkins coming from Washington. So you get to really understand these guys' personalities, I think, in a setting like this, in a series like this. And we're used to that on the NFL side with Hard Knocks, but at the end of the day, these guys are going to be the ones out on the recruiting trail, relating to high school coaches, relating to families, relating to recruits. I think that insight, especially if we can get a lot of recruiting related stuff with the Mike Lombardi as well, who's obviously running the recruiting operation and the player personnel department. So that's the sort of stuff I'm interested in seeing.
No question about it. And I think with brand, right? With brands, I think perception is reality to a certain degree. The example I use would be Colorado, right? The Buffaloes. I know this brand. I always loved them. I love the uniforms, love the colors. This was the top team when I was a kid, right? In the early 90s. They were coming off a national championship. They were, the best team in the video game, the old Bill Walsh video game, for those who are closer to their 40s. So I always loved Colorado. But for kids growing up, it meant nothing. It was a joke of a team for many years. Then Deion Sanders comes, there's instant credibility. You're always seeing it on TV. And a kid, who's not old enough to know the championships, who kind of knows the struggles, but hasn't really paid attention to Colorado. Overnight, they're like, oh, yeah, this is a brand. It's a brand that once competed for national championships. The stadium looks cool. I like those uniforms, and it all kind of comes together overnight, overnight brand shift. And just for perspective, so in 2021, this is the Colorado Buffaloes recruiting rankings. They were 64th in the composite in terms of recruiting. Flash forward to this year, you're signing multiple 4-stars. So there's no Travis Hunter, right? There's no more Shador, and all the Louis that Deion brought, right, is gone. But you're talking about Julian Lewis, 4-star quarterback, Chauncey Gooden, 4-star inside offensive lineman, all the way down the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4-stars. I'm talking about Colorado in terms of how it would apply to UNC, because UNC, they've landed, their brand's been better than Colorado. They have more local talent. They've landed more high-profile players, but it needs a boost. They've struggled a little bit lately. You did get Bryce Baker late, which was a huge, huge get for Bill Belichick, but you got to spruce it up. You don't have any 4-stars or 5-stars right now in that 2026 class. It's early. But I think things like this are going to help that brand elevate and allow Bill Belichick to not just get guys that fit his system. We liked their recruiting class last year. We liked how they finished. We liked what they did. But to win battles, you got to have a brand. I think this elevates the brand.
Well, and it's listen, I know you don't play the video games, D, but it's like when you play the college football game, you have your recruiting and you have your grades for every aspect of recruiting. You can always over time bring those grades up. Brand exposure, that's one of them that they have there. And I think that's what you're doing here. Let's not forget, we have not mentioned this in this part of the discussion. You have the Jordan brand behind you. You look at the extreme level with Nike having Phil Knight behind them. There's no reason you can't do the same sort of thing at North Carolina. We understand there's a lot of Jordan schools now, but you're North Carolina. That Jordan logo is going to be all over the place. And I personally think, and just watching McAfee show today, Mike Lombardi there, he's got very fresh quarter zip on. He's got some low top Jordans on. I mean, I'm jealous, I gotta say, and I have no affiliation to the school, but I want that gear. It looks good, right? I see people walking around with Colorado gear that have no reason to be walking around with Colorado gear. That is what getting on this sort of stage does for you if you're North Carolina.
I agree totally. You look at a school like Oregon. To me, I always liked Oregon's uniforms because I grew up kind of an Oregon fan. My dad's from there. I had family that went to University of Oregon. So I always liked the uniforms. And then when they got the rebrand, obviously things went crazy. UNC to me has some of the best colors in the game. I wonder if they can maybe spruce it up a little bit and keep the same basic colors, but maybe have some alternate uniforms. I'm a traditionalist personally. I like just the uniform, but kids like different uniform combos. Maybe UNC, like you mentioned, with that Jordan brand affiliation, starts doing these kind of things. And again, people are like, oh, is Belichick just hanging out with a young girl now? So he's feeling young. I think Belichick is understanding that in this new competitive endeavor, these kind of soft things give you a competitive advantage because you got to recruit. So it's not about being cool. It's not about, your own personal satisfaction. It's about doing things that are going to convince the most talented players to come to your program and develop into professional athletes that help you win games at the college level. I think that's what this is all about at the end of the day. Every decision he's made.
And look, bottom line, we understand how Coach Belichick has been with media over the years. There's been stuff where you get to see a little bit more of his personality. That was it HBO that did the special with him and Saban. I thought that was awesome. Those conversations between the two of them. But you're gonna get to hopefully get the layers peeled back a bit for Coach Belichick. That if they don't, they've missed out on it. But they've got to have a scene, at home to see what it's, a normal day after work is for them. Stuff like that. I would love to really see. And
watching Taylor Swift videos on YouTube with his girlfriend or whatever. I don't know what girls that age do.
Yeah,
You would know, but I would say you would know, but
I
that's
wouldn't
like
either.
that guy's like 6 years younger than you.
That's a bit younger, bit young for me too. So I don't necessarily know either, man. But no, it'll be fun to watch. And listen, it'll be great for our page here because of course we got to talk about everything that's happening. We got to talk about the drama in the position rooms, man. When one of those coaches really get into one of the freshmen and lays into them and lets them know that effort's not going to be tolerated here. So we'll talk about all that stuff. We'll keep you updated here on Group Chat Sports. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. North Carolina fans, we appreciate your support. You guys have been awesome for us in our growth, and we're going to keep bringing you all of the latest on the Tar Heels and what Coach Belichick is bringing. Thank you all for watching today.